Okay guys, so welcome back to another Warhammer Imperium playthrough. This week we are doing the Psychic Assault from issue 11, so playthrough 11. So I've gone ahead and set up the board here. Today we're using the Librarian that came with this issue, 3 Scarab Swarms and a Necron Royal Warden. So the Royal Warden goes on B, the 3 Scarabs are on A, obviously unit coherency, and the Librarian is in the centre of the map. I think that is B, A, B, C up there, so he's on C. So the only new rules that we're learning today are going to be pretty much for the Librarian, and that is that he is a Psyker. Now this adds one more phase into the different phases that we go through in a combat sequence, or in a turn sequence I should say. So the turn sequence now is, if we can find it, move, psychic, shoot, charge. Obviously if they don't have psychic, then you ignore the psychic phase, and then if they're already in combat, then after the charge phase there is also a fight phase. So we now got 5 phases. So we'll go through the Librarian sheet here. Obviously we've already done the Royal Ward, and we'll have a quick look at the Scarabs as well. But what we've got here is the Librarian. He can move 6 inches. His weapon skill and ballistic skill are both 3+. His strength, he has a strength 4 and a toughness 4. He has 5 wounds, 4 attacks with his sword, and he stays on a 3+. He has a bolt pistol, which has a range of 12 inches. It's a pistol type with 1 shot, strength 4, no AP, and only does 1 damage per hit. He has a force sword, which is just a melee type. It's the user's strength +1, so a total of 5. It has a -3 AP, and the damage is a D3. And remember guys, to roll a D3 you simply roll a D6, and on a 1 or 2 it counts as a 1, a 3 or 4 counts as a 2, and a 5 or 6 counts as a 3, and that will be how much damage it does for each hit, I believe. So if you have 4 attacks, all 4 of them hit, you then roll to wound, all 4 of them wound, you then work out how much damage is done after saving throws. So if 2 of them are negated, then you roll 2d3. So you would roll 2d6 and work out how many hits that has, or how many wounds that has inflicted. Also, he is a Psyker. The only psychic power that it has right now is Smite. Now Librarians and other Psykers within 40k do get access to a list of psychic abilities within their faction rules. So obviously Death Guard and Chaos are going to have different abilities compared to the Imperium side of things, and then things like Space Marines, each chapter has their own special, or some of the chapters have their own special Psyker abilities as well. But Smite is pretty much the generic, everybody has it as far as I'm aware anyway. Everybody has Smite, it's just a generic psychic attack basically. Right, so they got a little note down here on, oh no, we'll go through the Scarabs first. So a Scarab Swarm is pretty fast, it has a movement of 10. A weapon skill of 4+. They don't have any ranged weapons, so this is what the dash is for. They don't have a ballistic skill. They are strength 3, toughness 3. They have 4 wounds. I believe that is 4 wounds per base. So this is a unit. Each one of these has 4 wounds. As you can see, there's about 7 or 8 individual Scarabs on there. That counts as a swarm. So you're technically saying, well, there's 4 Scarabs on there. So each one of these has 4 wounds. They get 4 attacks each, so that is per base, per model. 4 attacks, and they have a 6+ save, so they're weak as hell. You know, chances of you saving any attacks on these guys are slim to none. They have feeder mandibles, which again are pretty weak. Melee, strength is just the user, so it's only a strength 3, AP 0, and damage 1. However, it does have a nice little ability. Nothing great, but if you roll a 6 on a dice, without adding any modifications, so you know, +1, if you roll a 5 and +1, that doesn't count, it has to be a straight 6 on the dice, then you automatically wound the target. And automatic wounds or mortal wounds cannot be saved against. We've gone through with invulnerable saves, negate AP. However, an invulnerable save can't even be used for mortal wounds or anything that says automatically wounds. So if you roll 4 attacks per 1, so that's 12 attacks, say 3 of them get 6s on the 6th, then an unmodified hit roll of 6. Right, so when you're rolling to hit, if say 3 of them you roll a 6, that's 3 wounds automatically done before you've even done anything else. So not too bad, especially when you are rolling 12 dice. It does up your chances of rolling a 6 a little bit. They also have a keyword. Yes, they have put it on here. So they have fly. Now, fly is pretty simple to use. Basically, they can move over other models when they move, advance, fall back, or charge. They can count them as not there. Basically, they're above them. They can ignore vertical distances when making a normal move, so you don't have to count the 2-inch height or whatever it is that we'll discover in a later issue when we start getting our containers and stuff. But moving vertically, they ignore that. It counts as though they're whatever level they need to be on the board. And also, models with fly can be moved within engagement range of models, but cannot end within engagement range. So for example, assuming this is an enemy, they can do this. They're within engagement range, which normally you can't do, and then they can land there, but they can't do this and land there. They have to clear that engagement range. Normally a unit would have to go around that engagement range. These guys can go straight through. So they're, like I say, a weak unit. They're not too bad when it comes to securing objectives and just using as cannon fodder. So yeah, that is pretty much what we're going to learn today. Oh, the only other thing, smite for the psyker. A psychic test of 5+ is required. If manifested, the closest visible enemy unit within 18 inches suffers D3 mortal wounds. So the way that psychic tests work, you roll 2d6 and you have to score higher than what the psychic ability says. So obviously smite is a 5+, so 2 dice, chances are you're going to hit hit higher than a 5. The chances you're going to get lower, but you know, is a basic move, you know, basic thing. You've got pretty much a 50-50 chance of hitting it. There are ones, however, where they're sort of, you know, 8, 9. They're a lot more powerful if you manage to hit them, you know, get them. But obviously the chances of getting that is a little bit lower. So yeah, with that said, let's get on with today's playthrough. If I can find my tape measure. Here we go. So, starting with the Space Marines, we are going to move the psyker his 6 inches towards the scarabs. So, measuring from the front of the base, 6 inches, gets in there. He's then going to use his psychic power to try and smite these scarabs here. So rolling 2d6, we need a total of 5 or more. So we've just about done it with a 6. And so they suffer D3 mortal wounds. I believe it was D3. Yes, D3 mortal wounds. So 2 counts as a 1. Remember, 1 to 2 is 1. so they suffer 1 wound. And remember, each one has 4 wounds, so we'll put that on the closest guy, and that's the psychic phase done. Next up we have the shooting phase. I'm just going to look through the playthrough. Again, I'm not 100% on the rules of 9th edition. It hasn't been out for super long now, but I believe you do the psychic phase and then yes, you can shoot. And can you charge? They're saying you can. Use how to charge in the rules section of playthrough 10. So I believe that we can charge because he's got a pistol that allows us to shoot and charge. So he's going to shoot the pistol, which has a range of 12 inches. We're clearly within that. So 1 dice, a 3. He needs a 3 or more to hit, so that's a hit. It has strength 4, and the scarabs have toughness 3. So because we are higher, we go from a 4 to a 3 or more. So 3s to damage, scoring 5s. So the scarabs have to save on that with a 6 or more, and they fail, which means they take D3. No, they take 1 wound. We're doing the bot pistol, aren't we? So there's another wound. And I have placed that wrong. That should be a 3 on there because I count downwards. So from 4 wounds to 3 wounds, and now 3 wounds to 2 wounds. Okay. Next, we have the charge phase. So again, we're going to roll 2d6. This is for charging, and we can move 3 inches. So does that make it? And nope, it doesn't. That will fall us short. Remember, you have to hit base contact, I believe. If I'm wrong on that, if it is, you just have to get within engagement range, and you guys know, let me know. But I believe you have to hit base contact. You have to make it. You can't just touch that engagement range and then move that extra bit. So yeah, there we go. He doesn't make it, is how I will play that. So that is the end of the Space Marines term. Now the objective for this, guys, is destroy. It is just a hunt and kill mission. So what we're going to do is we will leave the scarabs there. We don't need to move them because they can charge next turn. We will move the Royal Warden and get him a bit closer. Then we will shoot with the Royal Warden. So he has rapid fire 2. If he is within 15 inches, because he has a 30-inch range on that, it becomes 4. So clearly he's within that range. So that's 4 shots he gets off, needing 3s or more. So we have 1 miss and 3 fly towards their target and hit. This is a strength 5 against a toughness 4. So again, we need 3s or more. And 1 of those hit or missed. So 2 wounds. Now this is a AP -2. The Librarian doesn't get any invulnerability save or invuln save. So he saves on a standard 3 or more. So he scores 6s. The AP of the weapon is -2, so these become 4, which is still enough for the Librarian to not take any damage. So that's the shooting phase over. Now we have the charge phase. So we're going to charge them scarabs at that Librarian there and see what damage we can do. So 7 inches, as we know, we're 4 inches away. So we are going to hit him, and we can get these guys to swarm round like so. Get them like that. They're within 2 inches of each other, and they're all within the the engagement range so they can all fight. Right, so let's have a look. They get first attack because they charged. They get 4 attacks each. So we're rolling a nice number of 12 dice for this. I hope my tray can have enough space to roll them all. So we've got to get rid of that one because it's a different dice. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we need 4s or more to hit. Oh, not too great. But with that amount of attacks, it's not too bad. What did we do? Just under half of those hit. So now we need to wound, and I did just mess that up. So we'll re-roll that, guys. I picked up the dice without looking at what 6s I'd already scored there. I believe, obviously, you're going to rewind this and see this. So we got 4, 8, 12. So here we go. See if we can do any better. So we've got misses. We hit on 4, so miss, 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 and miss. So we've got 1 6 here, so that automatically wounds the Space Marines. So we'll drop them down to 4 wounds now so that we don't lose track of that. So that's for that one. You still get to roll for the attack, I believe. It says automatic wound. I don't know if we remove that dice now because it's automatically wound, or if we still get to roll it. That's not very clear. So each time an attack is made with this weapon, an unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically wounds the target. So I'm assuming because it automatically wounds, you don't get that dice to roll as well, because that dice has already counted as though you rolled it for wounds and it wounded. So we will roll the remaining 5 that didn't automatically wound. And these guys are strength 3 against a toughness 4 Space Marines. So we go the other way. We need 5s or more. Remember, you start at 4 and you just subtract or add depending on whether you're slightly better or slightly tougher or weaker, or if you are double or more tougher or weaker. So you will either go from a 4 to a 3 and then 3 to a 2, or 4 to 5 and 5 to 6. So we need 5s now. So we got 2 hits there. So out of all those dice, we got an automatic wound and 2 more wounds. Now remember, we've rolled a 6, but that's not for the wounds. That automatic wound doesn't count for wounding. That's only when you roll a 6 on the actual hit. So this one, it's just 2 standard wounds. So the Space Marine gets to save on 3s or more. He saves 1, fails the other, and these do 1 damage as well. So he is now down to 3 wounds. There we go. And that is the end of the Space Marines. Sorry, the Necron's turn. Now, Space Marines' turn. One thing that I can't see in any of this is about using psychic abilities within engagement range. It doesn't say anything about that. So he's going to use his psychic ability. So smite, he's going to attempt to smite them. And obviously that's a success, almost twice over. So automatically, and also not automatically, that's a success. And now we roll a d3 to see how many wounds. Again, 1 wound to the Scarabs. Now the Scarabs are within engagement range, so they are the closest. So this now becomes 1 wound remaining on that last Scarab. You always apply wounds to existing wounded models first before applying it to others. You can't spread the wounds about to try and keep your models there longer. That was the weaker one. That's the one that takes the damage. So that's that. We can also fire the pistol within engagement range. So we're going to do that. And fail that. And now we move on to the fight phase. So because we are already in hand-to-hand combat, there was no charge, so it's actually the Necrons that get the first swing of the sword, so to speak. So again, they get their 12 attacks, and I really should have looked up the rule whether they get 12 attacks or just the one when it's not their turn, but I'm going to play it as 12. So one more dice, they get 12 attacks. And let's have a look. And remember, 6 is automatically ruined, and that, if that wasn't on camera, I wouldn't believe how bad that was. They needed 4s or more, and they only scored 3 hits. Come on, guys, that was pretty pathetic. 1s and 2s. Oh dear. Right, so rolling to wound. They are tougher, or sorry, they are weaker than the Space Marine, so they wound on 5s or more, and none of them wound. That's the end of their turn. So the Space Marine gets to fire back, or attack back. So 4 attacks with the 4 sword, needing 3s or more. 2 failed and 1 passed. Now he is strength 5 on this because it's user +1, and the Scarabs are toughness 3, so we're not quite double, so we still only need 3s or more to wound. So let's have a go at this. 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 2 wounds. So 2 of his attacks get right through. Now, the AP of a 4 sword is -3. The Scarab Swarms save on a 6+. Now, even if you roll a 6, you minus the 3 from that, becomes a 3, they cannot protect against the sword. The sword is too strong, it is going to wound them. So we inflict 2 wounds. So the first wound gets taken from this guy, killing him off. And then the other wound gets applied to one of the other guys. Do I have a 3 around somewhere? I thought I did. It seems to have gone missing. See if we can find another one. If not, we use a dice. There's a 3. So we'll apply that to this guy here. And because obviously the fight phase is over, you get to consolidate. So they're just going to move across. They were within 2 inches anyway, but we'll just move them closer. And that there is the end of the Space Marines turn. So what we're now going to do for the Necrons is we are going to move the Royal Warden closer. Oh, without shoveling the board. So let's move him closer there. And we are actually going to have the Scarabs fall back a little bit. Now I'm not going to move them all the way because I want them to be the closer target. A, because there's 2 of them. So between them they have more wounds than the Royal Warden. Which means when the Space Marine uses his smite, because they are closer, it has to target them. It can't target this guy. So it keeps this guy alive. A little bit longer anyway. So that's the movement. We're now going to use the Royal Warden to shoot. And again, rapid fire 2. He's within half range, so he gets 4 dice. Needing 3s or more. And they all hit. The wound for this will be a 3+. Yep, that's right, 3+. And 1 fails to wound. The Space Marine now needs to save on 3s or more. So we've got 2 3s and a 6. So we've got AP of -2 brings this to a 4, which is still a save. These two, however, wound the Space Marine. They do 2 damage each, so that kills off the Space Marine. He only has 3 wounds left, and so he receives 4 points of damage, which takes him to 0. So that is the end of the game. A little bit of a short one there, but a win for the Necrons. So a much deserved or much needed win for the Necrons. So yay for them. But that does bring us to the end of the episode, guys. I hope that things in that were clear enough for you. If not, if you have any questions, or if I've done anything wrong and you notice, then let me know down in the comments. So questions and corrections down there. It's nice, always nice to receive feedback from you guys, as long as it's in a friendly manner. You know, nothing horrible or anything like that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I would admit it. But you know, don't worry about correcting me. Just do it politely. So yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I really am trying to get the channel to grow. It's getting there slowly, very slowly, but it is getting there. I'm always happy to see new subscribers. So to those of you who have recently subscribed, a huge warm welcome to you. Welcome to the inner circle, and thank you for your support. But until next time, guys, that's it from me. Take it easy and keep painting those minis.